I lived in Utah most of my life, but I moved to California when I was 16, and I consider myself a Californian just because when I moved there, I immediately fit in. I was like the swimmer dude that liked the indie music, that dressed already like a Californian, like I was already, and then I moved. My family's been in the church for like 8 or 9 generations. Probably the first one I can remember besides everything my mom's ever done, which is charity in and of itself.
Yeah.
Probably I had a in primary I didn't have a set of scriptures, and one day um, a set of scriptures just showed up on my doorstep and that said, "Hey, I noticed you didn't have any scriptures. Take these, take care of them, enjoy them." It was cool. So that's one of the first things I can remember, and it's important not because I actually valued the scriptures as much as I should have, but just because since then the scriptures have been such a huge part of my life that, like, looking back, that was an important thing, and I appreciated it. I appreciate it more now than I did then.
So just the act itself, not necessarily even scriptures.
Yeah, just the act
Seeing
itself,
that.
like seeing someone
Okay.
go out of their way
Mhm.
to do something like that. Let's see, what else? I grew up in a well-off area. My parents were really successful. Our neighbors were even more so. So as far as like helping people immediately around us or being helped, I can't say we had a lot of temporal help from people around us. It was very much like, hey, we've got everything. Everyone around us has everything. And so I think my eyes were really opened when I went on a mission and saw people that, for example, I was in a city that was on strike for a whole month. And we'd meet people and ask if they had food, and they said, sometimes. And we're like, holy cow, this is not where I grew up, right? And so it was a way to see the world differently. And when the bishopric would just leave bags of food, which I don't know where they got it from, because you couldn't find food. Even we couldn't find food. Would just leave bags of food on members' doorstops that needed it. It was like, okay, this is really cool. This is what like we're supposed to be doing as a church, right? Yeah. So if it wasn't for we had pensionistas in Bolivia, or like members that would cook for us, and they we paid them, so it was almost like a job, more of a service than anything, because the food really the money only covered the food really. But the pensionista we had at that time had 9 children, and she had enough food storage for all 9 children. They had moved out, and she cooked for us, and so she had food storage for 4 missionaries for a month.
Wow.
And herself. So if it wasn't for her, we would be just stuck eating probably noodles with barbecue sauce, which is all we had, and yerba mate. That's all we had. We had like crackers, water, and noodles, but our stove wasn't like good enough to actually cook the noodles. It'd take like half an hour to boil maybe like a bowl of noodles. Yeah, it was a terrible stove. So let's see. So yeah, my experiences in that city with just like the lack of food were definitely touching. I feel like in our society anyway, most of the basic needs are met, Last semester, let's see, there's plenty of examples of this. And almost all of my experiences that come to mind anyway, I'm sure there's more. But the most prominent ones are always my own mother. Last semester, I had a really, really hard semester, and I was ready to just like say, you know what, I'm going to take a year off of school and just work. Nothing I wanted to go well was going well. I really had no life plan. I thought I did going into that semester, and it just kind of got shot down, and dating wasn't going well, and grades weren't going well. And I was like, what the heck? I'm doing all I can. And my mom, who hates driving, hates Nevada, and hates Utah, drove all the way down without telling me just to spend a weekend with me. And that weekend changed my whole life since then. So that was huge for me. Just, she didn't bring me anything. She didn't necessarily do anything. She was just here. But it took a lot of effort for her to be here, and we talked a lot. So her to just be here and to just talk and to just hear me out was huge. Totally changed my life.